Tasha Brandon, welcome. How are you?
I'm very well, Carlos. Thank you. It's
Yeah,
great to be here.
awesome. Good to have you here.
Thank
So
you.
we're going to be talking about self-employment loans for people who have their own business and want to buy a house. We want to give the information, but first we want you to introduce yourself and tell people who you are.
Yes, my name is Tasha Brandon. I'm with Mortgage Marketplace. I am a licensed mortgage broker. I'm also the co-owner of Mortgage Marketplace, and it's exciting to be here. I've been in the business since 1999. It's a
Awesome.
long time.
Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah.
Seen a few loans, helped many people get into homes. So it's exciting to be here. Thank you.
It's exciting to have you here. So talk to me about self-employment loans. A lot of us are self-employed, and we want to buy a house. What do we need to start? What do we need to qualify for a loan?
So, three top items: tax returns, 2 full years of tax returns filed with your business and filed with the IRS. It is important to have that. You can, in some situations, have 1 year of tax returns as long as you have the history of doing that type of work or that type of business for the last 5 years.
Okay, awesome. So will I need my business tax returns and my personal tax returns also? Will you need those?
Well, it depends on how you have your business structured. If you are a sole proprietor, usually those two are in the
In
same
one,
form.
yeah.
So it would be called a Schedule C.
What about if I have an LLC?
You would have the 1120, which would be your LLC filing, and you would also provide the K1 that would go with the LLC, and then in addition to your personal tax returns.
Okay, awesome. What about money in the bank? I have a business. Let's say I have 2 years of tax returns with my business. So how much money in the bank will the lender need to see that I have?
Well, you definitely want to cover your down payment and closing costs, and also have some level of support that is left in your business for cash flow. And that is one analysis that we do as a lender. So basically, you want to have whatever your loan type is that you're trying to get, you want to have that in place. And in either a business asset, checking account, savings account, or your personal.
Okay. Well, and then what are some of the challenges that you see for self-employed borrowers?
Ooh, some of the challenges are, one, you don't have a plan or a timeline, and you haven't talked to a lender. So number one, go talk to a lender. They are going to have the plan in place for you, and then it gives you a timeline of what you need to do in order to meet that plan. Second, get your taxes in order and meet with your tax preparer or have your balance sheet and profit and loss statements available.
Yeah, it sounds like those taxes are where it starts. You need to show some income. I know that a lot of businesses, try to not pay too much taxes, so they try to save a little bit on their taxes by maybe not showing a lot of income,
Right.
which is a problem, right?
Right. And any business that's starting out, you're going to have a lot of expenses in that first year. So you might have a loss on that first year. And it is important to know that there are other alternatives to expensing all of it all at once. But really, that second year of tax returns, you want to have at least some recorded income. Because they're going to the lender's going to average out the first 2 years, and then that's going to be your monthly
Okay, so
calculation.
I want to touch on that. So they're going to average out your income. Let's say, for example, the first year of your business you made, let's say, $100,000. Let's say the second year you made $200,000. So by averaging the income, what does that mean? You're going to take the two,
Yep.
divide it by two, and get the median,
Yeah.
right?
So you're going to average out $150,000 and then divide it by 12. And that is going to give you your monthly income calculation. But even though you make it, all of those deductions are taken out. So you have to look at your bottom line income and what you pay taxes on.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. That's why you're the expert. We want to work with somebody that knows what they're doing,
Thank you.
and that certainly is you.
Thank you.
Um,
I do have to say there are so many options, so many more options available for self-employed borrowers, though, because in the non-conforming space, there are now what we call bank statement only programs. There are K-1 only banks, bank statement only. There are 1099 only programs out there. So really, if you are self-employed and you find that your taxes may not be where you need to be to buy a home, there are other options in the non-conforming space.
okay, so you can work with different situations. That's what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. And there are more banks doing these types of programs because of the limitations of tax returns.
Okay, so somebody who's trying, say you don't have the 2 years, don't give up. Find
Don't
out.
give up. Absolutely not.
Talk to Tasha.
Yes.
She'll work on your file and she'll get you
Yeah.
pre-approved if you're
Absolutely.
self-employed.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So talk to me about since we're in the topic of taxes, do you have to have your taxes paid in full before qualifying for a mortgage? Let's say you owe taxes to the government. Do you have to have those paid before you're able to buy a house?
You do not have to have them paid, but you should have them under a payment plan. Or if it's possible to pay them off at closing. Don't feel like you have to pay them off immediately in order to qualify for a loan. Let the lenders, let us do that processing for you, and we can exclude it, we can add it to your liabilities, and really it's best if you are going to pay off the taxes to do it through your closing agent, your escrow agent at closing.
Okay, that's great information, Tasha. Thank you. And then before we leave, talk to me a little bit about the state of the market. What do you think? What are you seeing out there right now?
Ooh, it is a fun time to be in this business. I think there's a lot of opportunity for individuals to shine, so to speak. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for people to get into homes. I don't think it's a bad time. It needs to be a good time for the buyer and the sellers too. So I think it's good. We're going to see some change here pretty soon in the market, but hold on tight.
Yeah,
Get your ducks in a
definitely.
row.
We've been seeing the changes, and last year, what I tell people, it was so hard to get into a house last year. There was a lot of competition, multiple offers. You had to bid on the house, 10, 20, 30, 40,000 above asking price. It was really hard for people to buy a house. Interest rates were lower, yes, but it was really challenging. You had to overbid. You had to overcome a lot of challenges.
You had to get really creative, really, because just like you have your own toolbox worth of, full of things that would get you the accepted offer, we as lenders have our own toolbox, and that could have been, hey, we got a property waiver on the property, so which means that you don't have to have an appraisal done, and that is, for a listing agent and seller, that might just be the ticket. Hey, we don't have to have our appraiser in this house. So, and they're going to value it at what is stated on the loan. So it was a great time to be creative.
Yeah, and now it's a different market, and there's more opportunity, less competition. Now we can possibly ask the seller to pay your closing costs, which is great.
Yeah, we're seeing that more and more. Absolutely. I'm happy to see it come back, for sure. It helps the buyers.
Yeah, and I'm telling buyers, we're not overbidding anymore. We're looking at the market, and we're maybe even underbidding in some cases. So
that's great.
Imagine
Yay.
You can get a deal now underbid. You can get your closing costs paid for. So there's new market, new opportunity. That's what I say.
Yeah. And as the market changes, we're still holding that appreciation. And that is really important to know as well, is even though you're paying, for the house at this amount, you're still seeing it appraise. You're still seeing that it is appreciating organically. So
yes, and we see the rents are really expensive right now. So, owning a house makes sense. In the future when rates go down, because they go up and down also, you can refinance. So if you can buy a
Absolutely.
house, buy a house.
Yeah, and there's other creative ways. Even if you did buy your house and you have mortgage insurance, and the chances of you refinancing in 12 months, 6 to 12 months, I should say, and getting you out of that mortgage insurance is great. It's likely that will happen. And there's other ways that you can do it as a lender to get away from that mortgage insurance.
That's awesome. That's where we got to go to you, Tasha Brandon. Tell us how people can contact you if they want to reach out to you.
Yeah, I'm very easy to find. Mortgage Marketplace .biz online. My phone number, my cell, I'm always available. If I'm awake, you can call me. It's 541-224-7090. And my email address is tasha@mortgagemarketplace.biz.
Mortgagemarketplace.biz. There you go.
Yes.
That's where you have to go.
Yeah.
And then you have an upcoming workshop. Is that right, for first-time home buyers?
I do. I'm excited to say that we have relaunched our first-time home buyer webinars, and it's exciting because you get all kinds of questions during these sessions. But it is 30 to 45 minutes worth of content. We usually feature our favorite realtors, so that which we're going to be up next, yes, right? I hope so. Next week, coming up on the 29th. It is at 7 p.m. Go to our website or Facebook page, Mortgage Marketplace, and you can find the link to register. You absolutely want to register for this because you'll get the content and you'll get the feeds throughout the workshop. And so we have a couple of things coming up for that. I'm really excited to see.
That's awesome, Tasha Brandon. You had an amazing idea for us. We're going to do more of these interviews, but we're going to maybe sip on wine and be more comfortable. Talk about, the market, different programs for buyers. Well, really, the point of this is to give information and to have the real conversation out there on social media. So I thank you for coming and speaking to us about self-employment loans. So anybody that's self-employed, wants to buy a house, Tasha Brandon's right here to help you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, Carlos.